Hi, this is Marcel Kuhn, and I'm the founder of Unthinkable. I am coach, author, and speaker, and I would like to share with you some ideas about becoming the unthinkable. So I have some slides prepared for you. I hope you enjoy. So for me, unthinkable is doing something that you couldn't think of before. And when you cannot think it, as long as you cannot think it, you cannot do it. And I think imagination goes even further than thinking because it involves the whole body. So for me, doing something beyond what you can imagine is actually doing the unthinkable, and you can do whatever you put in your mind. Many people have difficulties with change, but change is a very normal part of nature. Every day nature changes, and change is not good or bad, it's just what is happening consistently. And most of you have experienced change in your personal life, in your professional life, and we can fight against it, or we can go with the flow and deal with it and make the best of it. It's always a matter of perspective, how you look at it. Without change, there is no growth. So as long as you don't change, there is no growth. And this goes for you personally, but also in your professional life. And we see this beautifully in nature. And growth is never linear. Growth in nature is always exponential. When you look at the plants in Central Europe, in spring you don't see any change. You don't see any change, and suddenly you have a tree. So moving outside of your comfort zone is moving into the unknown, and it's moving into exponential growth, which is really exciting. So we maybe many of us have heard this: life begins outside of your comfort zone, and for me this is really true, because being in the comfort zone is about doing the things that you have done a lot, and you repeat doing them. So when you do the same thing, when you think the same thoughts, you get up at the same time, you sleep on the same side of the bed. So your life is really staying the same. There is not really a change, and there is no growth. So for me, I find, of course, comfort zone is quite comfortable, but nothing happens, and really the magic is outside of the comfort zone. And many of us, me included, there are so many fears that we have from the unknown, and from doing the unthinkable, and all the fears and all the obstacles are inside of your mind. So when you can think it, you can do it. So when I quit my corporate job 6 months ago, I was so afraid of leaping, and I I took so much time to think about it, what will happen, and it was a little bit scary. And when I did it, nothing happens. When you take a decision, um, you life just goes on, and actually everything is very manageable. So all your fears are in your mind, and you just have to take the leap and face your fears and step outside of your comfort zone. Doing the unthinkable, becoming the unthinkable, is also about being different than the other. So stepping outside of your sameness. So it's about being the yellow pencil in this example here. So it takes courage. People will tell you it's impossible. People told me, even my work colleague told me, that I will fail, as a coach and as an entrepreneur, that it's going to be difficult, and why would I leave the safe pension, the safe salary? And of course, it all makes sense to stay in the same, because then when you do the same, you receive the same result. But for me, I want to live life as my authentic self, and this means stepping outside of what everyone else is doing, and really doing what is true to yourself, or what is true to your vision, to your mission that you're here for. So for me, it's about being unique, being different, and it's about mainly about being your authentic self. we've heard about the comfort zone, and I was inspired to step outside of the comfort zone by Louis Pugh. He fights for the oceans, for the health of the oceans, by swimming in the very cold water in the at the North Pole and at the South Pole. And now recently we are facing very high temperatures in the Arctic and in the Antarctica, which are like 30 or 40 degrees higher than usual. And he's just making people aware of this problem. And he swims insane distances in those regions of the world that are really cold, so like a kilometer or even longer in this almost frozen water. And so this really inspired me, and I wanted to do something to step outside of my comfort zone too. And one other person that also inspired me to do the unthinkable, to step outside of my comfort zone, was Mostafa Salome. Mostafa Salome, he was born as a refugee in Jordan. So his parents are Palestinian. He grew up with 9 siblings, and in a refugee camp, and he helped his father greatly to earn enough money to feed all his siblings and feed the whole family of 12 people. And from you see him here on the highest point of the world, on Mount Everest. He one night he woke up, and he had this he woke up from a dream where he saw himself praying on the highest peak of the world. But at that time he didn't know the highest peak of the world. So then he googled, and then he found out it was Mount Everest, and that it was in the Himalayas. And he just went out there. He was partying hard at that time. He was working in a luxury hotel, I think in the Sheraton in the UK, as a food and beverage manager, after working 7 years in the kitchen of the Jordan ambassador in London. And he made his way, like, from no money to a great job. And when he had this dream, he just went out there and just followed this dream. And he did the 7 summits. So he climbed the highest peak on each continent. And he also skied to the North and South Pole, which is the Explorers Grand Slam, doing all of this. And he's one of 20 people in the world who has achieved this Explorers Grand Slam. So Louis Pugh and Mostafa Salome inspired me greatly to go beyond what I think is possible. And I thought I'd try this on my own. And I started doing cold immersion, which is also called Wim Hof Method. Wim Hof is a Dutch pioneer of the cold water who created this Wim Hof method, where you actually breathe, where you do intensive breathing in the cold, and actually you are becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable. So you do exactly what you wouldn't think is normal, to really stay calm and breathing in your belly, take deep breaths. And I started 7 years ago, and also as a child, I always was drawn to this to the element of cold water, because I just loved the sensation of going into the cold water. So 7 years ago, I started this again, and here is I think this was in 2017 in December, and it was snowing, and I did a run with my friend, and I decided to go in, and he joined me. And then people looked at us and thought that probably we are a little cuckoo. So, but that's really for me. The cold water is not that I'm not saying that everyone has to go in the cold water. For me, this is, the cold water is just a metaphor to step outside of your comfort zone, which is actually like a muscle. You have to practice it. So stepping outside of the comfort zone takes a lot of courage, and it takes practice. But when you do it, you can apply it to any field, and you don't need to do it in the cold water. You can do a difficult conversation with someone, or you can do it like me, quitting the job, which takes a lot of courage. Or you can do even smaller things to step outside of your comfort zone. And having new rituals, or like the cold water, or doing something, doing the unthinkable, it always takes time. And here, that's why I have the stairs. And usually when you have New Year's resolution, people set these great goals, and then usually on January 17th, most of the people give up. So adding a new ritual until it's totally integrated, it always takes time. And research says that in the London City College did a study, and they said it takes on the average 66 days. I don't think in any case it takes 66 days, but this is just a good number, and it shows you that you need consistency. And in order to do something new, you have to destroy old patterns. And so this usually is what's most difficult, to let go of the old, and to start the new, and to practice it, and until you're expert at it, until it's internalized. So this is a picture I always like for the rituals, because many of us drink coffee. So when you add a new ritual, it's always good to add it to something that you already do. Like for me, it's drinking coffee. And so I wanted to ask you to think about what are your rituals. And rituals, they are automatic, so sometimes it's difficult to know what kind of rituals you have. So I would like you to think about your rituals, and write it on a piece of paper, on a journal, or on an electronic device, because it's really great to be aware of what you're doing daily, and what you could replace with something even better. For me, the question I always ask myself each day before going to bed is, how did I disrupt my day today? What did I do new? And how am I going to disrupt my day tomorrow? Because the rituals are great, but the rituals, like any structure, it also limits you from disrupting and from growing. So anything gets you so far, and then you have to disrupt, and renew, and grow. And becoming the unthinkable is also about being unique, being yourself. We are all different. Here is the picture of plants. We all look different. We are all unique in the world. There are maybe 8 billion people, but every one of us is so unique. So it's really important that in life you choose the path that is great for yourself. And as I learned in flow, we all have conditions to thrive. When you're a cactus, you cannot deal with a lot of humidity. So it's really important that you stay true to your design. What are your conditions to thrive? So that's also a great exercise to do, to journal on. What are your conditions to thrive? What makes you happy? What makes you excited? What are you passionate about? What do you want to follow? And this is unique for everyone. And when you do something incredible, it seems always impossible until it's done. That's a great quote to finish by from Nelson Mandela. Thank you so much for joining. Wish you a great day.